If you enjoy going full auto on heretics while dodging and weaving through gunfire and seeing the kill feed explode with your name, rejoice, brothers and sisters, for the Emperor provides. Hello fellow rejects, I'm Shaggy and today I'll be walking you through my run and gun build for the Vrax Autogun. We will be leaning heavily into the Vrax strength and versatility in a unique way that will allow us to optimize its damage output through skillful play and constant movement. If you are looking for a mindless meta Vrax shout build, you can find it here. But for those of you who enjoy a bit more risk for a lot more reward, this build is for you. The weapons we are using for this build are the Vrax Autogun and the Rashad Combat Axe. Because the Vrax is such a workhorse that can deal with any situation as long as you have ammo, we use the Rashad purely as a trash clearing tool and as an emergency backup if we ever run out of ammo. Because our talent tree leans fully into the Vrax, the Rashad here is interchangeable with other melee weapons that have good horde clear. Though I always recommend the Rashad because it is a very strong generalist weapon even without any investment. Now for the fun stuff. So the Vrax Infantry Autogun. Before the Locked and Loaded update, this was called the Columnus, and it is one of the strongest guns in the game because of its versatility, ease of use, and overall firepower. The Vrax has the highest rate of fire of the infantry autoguns and the best overall damage. It has a very fast reload and high finesse scaling, which means it deals more damage with headshots, critical hits, and critical hit headshots. It also instantly cancels into fire for some reason, which the other autoguns do not do. They have a slight delay, so as you can see here, I'm sprinting, and as soon as I hit the fire button, I go right into it. There's no delay of me putting my gun down. For the stat spread, you want 80 in every stat besides mobility. Don't mind my stats here, this is just an old one from before the update. For the perks, we want the classic combo of Maniac and Flak, just to make it generally better against most enemies in the game, just saves us some more ammo. And for blessings, we want Strip Down and Dum Dum. Dum Dum is a given as it instantly gets to full stacks with the Vrax here, and just provides more close range damage. And Strip Down here is a more build specific blessing. It really leans into the talents that we'll be using here. So how Strip Down works is anytime we sprint while above 50% stamina, we become completely immune to all ranged attacks. As for our Curios here, we either want to take 1 toughness and 2 stamina, or 2 toughness and 1 stamina. The former gives us more damage, mobility, and it just makes the build function that much easier, while the latter gives us more survivability. For the perks on each of these, we want combat ability regen, that's an always good pick, stamina regen, and then whatever you'd like for the third. Toughness is always good. It's really up to you. Alright, on to the talent tree here. We start off by going down the middle here, picking up Close Order Drill for more toughness damage reduction, and Confirmed Kill, because we will be killing a lot of elites and specials with this build. We go down, pick up the stamina boost, pick up the Shredder Frag Grenade, which is very handy with this build, helps us take care of large hordes, and it's overall just a really strong panic button whenever we need it. We get back in the fight, and then we pick up Survivalist here, which gives us ammo whenever we kill an elite and specialist. Go down, pick up Opening Salvo to give us more crit chance every time we reload. And then we pick up Executioner's Stance here, which is just a huge boost in terms of our range damage. It also greatly reduces our spread and recoil, which is very important because the Vrax Autogun here does have some pretty high spray and reload. And from Executioner's Stance, we go down here. We pick up Precision Strikes for more weak spot damage, which is always good on every vet build. And then over here we pick up Deadshot. Now this is where things get spicy. Deadshot, how it works is whenever you use your secondary fire, it gives us more critical hit chance and reduces our sway, but we lose stamina based on the time we spend aiming and also each bullet shot during that time. So you'll see we quickly run out of stamina if we're just holding down the fire button. And you'll see that the rest of the build leans into this. This is the build's greatest strength, but also its biggest weakness. So the rest of the talents in the tree help to mitigate that stamina loss. We go down here, grab Fully Loaded for more ammo. Superiority Complex just makes it easier to kill most enemies. And then we go down here, pick up the Stamina Regen boost. Alright, and then we move down here and we pick up our Keystone, which is Marksman's Focus. How it works is every single time you get a weak spot kill, so a headshot kill, you get 3 stacks. Each one of those stacks gives you 7.5% ranged finesse strength, which again is weak spot damage, critical hit damage, as well as weak spot critical hit damage. And you also gain 1% reload speed. You can have up to 10 stacks of Marksman's Focus. Every single time you get a ranged weak spot kill, you can move around without losing any stacks for 6 seconds. If you hit them in the head and they don't die, which is the ranged weak spot hit, you can move around without losing stacks for 3 seconds. Generally, on most builds, it can be pretty hard to maintain stacks if you're not consistently hitting headshots, but luckily the Vrax is just that powerful that with this build you really don't need to worry about that as long as you're firing at head level. And then we move down to the ancillary nodes here. These two you generally never run. Camouflage is useful as it lets you maintain stacks by standing still, but because this build itself can maintain stacks pretty easily, we don't really need it here. We pick up Tunnel Vision here, which got a very sizable buff in the last patch. Gives us 5% toughness replenishment per stack, and it also lets us restore stamina for every single weak spot kill that we get. So using this, we can pretty much refill our stamina constantly as long as we're firing and getting kills. We go over to the middle tree here, and we do what I would call the meta veteran setup. You pretty much want to do this on every build. There are very few builds that don't want this. You grab For the Emperor, just gives us more damage, and our teammates more damage every single time we pop Executioner Stance, which will happen all the time because right after this we pick up Tactical Awareness, another node I cannot imagine playing without. Every single time you get a kill on a specialist, you get 6 seconds off of your ability cooldown, so we can constantly keep popping Executioner Stance and also making use of that For the Emperor buff. We go down here, we pick up Iron Will. Gives us more toughness damage reduction if we're above 75% stamina, which we will almost always be because of Veteran's insane toughness numbers as well as confirmed kill. Go down here and we pick up Bring It Down, which is another extremely strong node. 20% damage on ogres and monstrosities, just lets you take down those big boys that much faster. Gives us a lot more boss damage as well. And then we go over here to the right side of the tree. Pick up Reciprocity here, which is another extremely good node. Every single time we dodge, which it counts ranged attacks as well, so anytime a gunner misses you, it will also give you stacks. And each of these stacks gives you 5% critical hit chance for 8 seconds up to 5 times. Basically, we will always have high uptime on this. If you're not full stacks, you will at least have probably 2 or 3. So it is just a huge boost in general. And then we pick up Duck and Dive, and this is another very important node here. Every single time a ranged attack misses us, we gain 30% stamina. And the really important thing with Duck and Dive is its synergy with Strip Down over here. So Strip Down, as soon as you get over 50% stamina, you become immune to ranged attacks, which means it will just keep proccing Duck and Dive, which will keep putting you above 50% stamina. So basically, this build becomes completely immune to range damage whenever you're sprinting. This node also really helps with our Deadshot uptime. As long as you are occasionally dodging back and forth and any bullets are missing you, that's going to instantly refill your stamina over and over again. Just makes our stamina management that much easier with this build. We come down here, pick up another stamina regen boost, and then we come down here and we reach Onslaught. How it works is that continuous hits to a single target, applies brittleness for 5 seconds, stacks 16 times. And because the Vrax Autogun is so fast firing and also precise, this means that you can keep those maxed out brittleness stacks on your target pretty much indefinitely. Brittleness, how it works is it's just like rending. It allows you to more easily get through enemy armor. Only brittleness in this case, it applies to the enemy itself, which means that your teammates can also make use of it. So that 2.5% brittleness stacks up very, very fast, and then any enemy that you're hitting with this starts taking a lot more damage from both you and your allies. You'll see here's a Crusher. Normally you have to have like a specific weapon in order to take these guys down, but Onslaught makes it so that the Vrax can even handle these guys very well. You'll see here. Yeah, it shreds them pretty well. You stack this up with your marksman's focus, and the buff from executioner stance. And you'll see that we can just absolutely plow through this guy. That's with executioner stance fully stacked up, or marksman's focus rather, and then this is with executioner stance. Alright, so you should have a good idea of how everything comes together now. This isn't your average Vrax shout build. This build leans fully into maximizing the strengths of the Vrax autogun, meaning it has some of the highest damage output in the game if you can manage your stamina. It's extremely well-rounded, able to shred any target, special snipe, boss kill, and even horde clear like crazy if you have the bullets for it. It's incredibly strong against ranged units, able to clear them out quickly or just use them as an easy stamina refill by dodging or sprinting. It has a very active and very fun playstyle that isn't nearly as brainless as your average Vrax shout vet, but also isn't difficult or cumbersome to manage. You shoot at heads, you dodge back and forth, and don't forget to swap to your primary fire if you run out of stamina. It's self-sufficient and survivable as far as gun-centric builds go through its constant stamina and toughness replenishment, which means you won't have to rely on your allies nearly as much, and they won't have to play bodyguard for you as much. As for the cons of the build, it can handle hordes, but it's no horde clearer. You have your axe for clearing chaff and grenades for when you're in a really tight spot, but you still lose a lot of your value when you're put into those positions where you can't just mow them all down. It's also so gun forward that ammo does become a concern if you don't play smart or play on a very ammo-hungry team, so make sure to play more conservatively when you're just clearing up poxwalkers or you're dropped into a 4-man vet team. And honestly, that lack of emergency button due to your lack of grenade regen talents is the only red flag in this build. If you really feel like you're being overwhelmed too much and your teammates aren't providing you enough space to work your magic, you can consider dropping tunnel vision for demo team. This will make managing your stamina more difficult and lower your gun's massive damage uptime, but it will allow you to have those additional safety nets with your frag grenades when things are getting too chaotic. So if you find that you're just getting too overwhelmed, you can't really focus on your gunning as much as you'd like, you might want to swap into demo team instead. And of course, it's also worth mentioning that if you do not enjoy managing Deadshot, even with all these talents that we've taken to help your stamina management, that's totally fine. You can run this build without Deadshot and it will still perform. I ran some tests and it's about a 35% damage drop-off in the best situations. Otherwise, it's about 20%, so it's not a huge deal, but yeah, that's part of the flavor and the fun for the build for me, so alright, and that's it. If you want the quintessential Soldier 76 experience of Darktide, and enjoy being quick on your feet while going full auto on everything in sight, this build is for you. I want to thank you all for watching my very first Darktide build video. If you'd like to see more, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Now go out there and slay some heretics. Emperor bless and take it easy, guys.